Hey everybody, sorry for the voice. I'm a little bit sick today, and so it's late in the day, but I'm still gonna put forth a video talking about my quiet time today. This is the end of Isaiah. I finished up Isaiah today, Isaiah 66:22. This is God speaking. For as the new heavens and the new earth that I make shall remain before me, says the Lord, so shall your offspring and your name remain. From new moon to new moon, and new Sabbath to new Sabbath, all flesh shall come to worship before me, declares the Lord. And they shall go out and look on the dead bodies of the men who have rebelled against me, for their worm shall not die, and their fire shall not be quenched, and they shall be an abhorrence to all flesh. Now, this section is picked up multiple times in the New Testament, most notably Revelation, where the depiction of the eternal state, what theologians call the eternal state, what it's going to be like for us living with Christ forever, is not us going to heaven, although theoretically in the in-between time, between when we die and this eternal state, we will be present with the Lord. But it'll be a new heavens and a new earth. God will make all things new, and there'll be a merging of what we consider to be heaven, the throne room of God, and what we consider to be earth. The other pieces that Jesus picks up is their worm shall not die, talking about the wicked who are being punished. Their fire shall not be quenched, and they shall be an abhorrence to all flesh. So that's talking for him about hell. This idea that they're dead, rotting, but in a continuous fashion. The worm that is just consuming their rotting carcass doesn't die, and the fire is not quenched, which is burning away their person. So the Old Testament and the New Testament are very intimately linked. This is one of the things even that when you compare, for instance, Islam, so I'm getting to the point here where I'm talking about other religions. Obviously Judaism would say, well, hey, these other religions have come and they've gone too far. They've gone against what's come before. But the more that you look at the New Testament, the more you notice how closely and exactly it's the fulfillment of the Old Testament, how closely and intimately related the authors were with the contents of the Old Testament. The author of the Quran was quite simply not familiar at all with the Christian scriptures, not with the Old Testament, not with the New Testament. There's a few Old Testament citations in the Quran. I think the story about, or the phrase eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, what's called the lex talionis in Latin, the law of retaliation, that appears in the Quran. But the Quran, the author of the Quran, has no meaningful understanding of either the Jewish or the Christian faith, and seems to have been introduced by culture and the abuses of the Catholic Church that he saw. So those were more influential to him than the actual scriptures. So anyways, that's the thought for today, that the Old Testament and the New Testament are linked in a very intimate way, that the future state that awaits us is a new creation, a new heaven, a new earth, heaven and earth coming together. And unfortunately, the reality of hell is that those who are wicked and do not put their faith in Jesus Christ, do not come to God for forgiveness, will be punished by God justly. Those are my thoughts. Thanks so much for watching. Pray for me that I become well soon. I actually have to go back to work tomorrow. And again, thank you for watching. Lord willing, I'll see you guys tomorrow.